So here's me, thinking tonight is going to be a pretty predictable show. But then WWE decides to throw three really cool things in on this show that I was not expecting. Well, actually, four things. Let's talk about it, shall we? Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and it's that one night of the year when a person's career can change forever. Welcome to my Money in the Bank 2025 review. And we kick off things with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Stephanievaquer, Roxanneperez, and Giulia in this matchup. And this was a pretty good women's Money in the Bank ladder match. You had Roxanne and Giulia kind of with a partnership until, of course, things deteriorated. Lots of good spots between everybody in the matchup. Everyone getting their chance to shine. Towards the end, Rhea and Alexa were able to take out Giulia and Roxanne with both of their finishers. They get into a slugfest, and it appears as though Rhea might be able to, actually Rhea or Alexa look like they're going to win this matchup, but then Naomi comes in, dumps them off of the ladder. She climbs up, and she wins the Money in the Bank ladder match for the women's. This was a result that I was not expecting. Naomi, I think, was one of my bottom three, if not the very bottom pick, when it came to me kind of assigning, who I think was most likely going to win it. But I'm actually very surprised and very much looking forward to what happens with her as she holds the briefcase. And if you could not tell, 0-1 in my predictions. We then move forward, and then we have, let me see, yes, I was like, had to pull in my mind I tried to remember what the match order was. We have an impromptu title match for the Intercontinental title as Dominic Mysterio defends against Octagon Jr. At the Worlds Collide show, Dominic Mysterio and Octagon Jr. got into it, and Dominic said, "I'll see you at Money in the Bank, and I'll make sure that this title is on the line." And sure enough, it happened. I thought this was a really, really good showcase for Octagon Jr. He got to show off some of his stuff while also making Dominic look really, really good. I think this was probably Dominic's best title defense, in my opinion, since he won it at WrestleMania. Don't get me wrong, his match with Penta at Backlash was also really, really good, but we've also seen that match before, so I thought this was really fresh, really new, really interesting, and again, like I said, it was a really good showcase for Octagon Jr., but of course, Octagon Jr. does succumb to the 619 and the Frog Splash, and Dirty Dominic Mysterio retains his IC title. And I know I didn't talk about it in my predictions because, well, it was on impromptu, but I chose Dominic to retain, and that happened 1-1 in my predictions. We then move on to the Women's Intercontinental title match. Lyra Valkyria defending against Becky Lynch. If Lynch loses, then she cannot challenge for the Women's Intercontinental title while Lyra is champ. And if Lyra loses, she must raise Becky's hand. Before the introductions are even over, Lyra is attacking Becky, and she sends her to the outside. And much like at the Royal Rumble earlier this year, she has just the slightest wardrobe malfunction, and I'm just like, not again. But they're able to cover that up relatively quickly and continue the match. This match was really, really good. Again, both of them having that feud in NXT really paid off dividends because they're just so good at going back and forth, turning the tide during the match, and it was just really, really fun. Just counters upon counters to all of their biggest moves, knowing each other so well. Just a really solid match between the two of them. The finish comes with both of them up on the second, and Lyra's going to go for her. I think it's called Nightwing or Nightfall, one of the two. She goes for her finish, but Becky's able to escape, hit a second rope manhandle slam to pick up the 1-2-3. Becky Lynch is your new Women's Intercontinental Champion, and sure enough, Lyra does raise Becky's hand, but of course Becky, getting a little greedy, she wants it done on all four sides of the ring, and before Lyra leaves, she's like, wait, you gotta strap the belt around my waist, and sure enough, Lyra does, but hits a sneak attack and hits her finish, and then she vamooses out of the ring. So I don't know if they will go to a rubber match. I sincerely doubt it, but if they do, I mean, they have Night of Champions at the end of the month, so they could potentially do that third match there, and of course, I think Becky will obviously retain there, but possibility is there for a third match. Do I want to see that? Not really, but it is there for them to do that. And also 2-1 in my predictions. We now go to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. LA Knight, yeah. Solosikoa, El Grande Americano, Andrade, Penta, and Seth Rollins. Of course, Seth comes out with Paul Heyman, and of course, early on in the match, everyone's mad at Seth, so he gets the crap kicked out of him, and he's chucked to the outside. Really, really good stuff in this matchup. If I had to pick my choice as to which Money in the Bank ladder match is better, I would say this one. Not only because of the stuff that we're going to talk about later on, but just also they just had some really good and really brutal spots in this. Penta hitting his Mexican Destroyer on, I believe, Andrade on a ladder bridge. That was nasty. All of them fighting on top of the ladders, of course, creating that iconic visual. Grande Americano getting slingshotted by LA Knight onto a ladder. Grande climbs it, gets on the post, uses a ladder to vault onto a ladder that's in the center of the ring, climbs up and stops Penta from unhooking the briefcase. I thought that was a really cool spot. Of course, towards the tail end, Seth is nowhere near the briefcase, so him and Heyman are shouting, now, do it now. And that, of course, leads out Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker to basically wreck shop and basically kill everybody in the matchup. Grande gets a big spear from Breaker. I think Andrade gets a tsunami inside of the ring, and they are about to attack Solo on the outside, but of course, Solo has his group. Out comes Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo. Braun and Mateo, they fight. Mateo is sent into the ring post. Braun spears them through the barricade. Reed looks like he's handling Fatu pretty easily inside of the ring, but Jacob, in an amazing feat of strength, hits a pop-up Samoan drop on Reed, which was absolutely insane. He helps Solo get to his feet, reaffirms, "I love you, Solo," and helps him get a ladder to climb up to the briefcase, but stops him and says the words that we have all been waiting for Jacob to say, "I hate you, Solo," and sure enough pulls him off the ladder and hits him with a pop-up Samoan drop, the moonsault, springboard moonsault, and a spinning Solo through the ladder on the outside. So now Jacob Fatu is now fully babyface, and it looks like we'll be feuding with Solosikoa in the probably the coming weeks and maybe months or so, which then clears the way for Seth Rollins to go up and get the briefcase. Or does he? Because LA Knight comes in to stop it, goes for a BFT, but Seth stops it, hits a stomp, and he climbs up and unhooks the briefcase. Seth Rollins is now a 2-time Money in the Bank winner, and for the record, 3-1. Which then leads us to our main event for the evening. Cody Rhodes and Jeyuso versus John Cena and Logan Paul. This was a relatively simple tag match with babyfaces getting the quick flurry of offense, and then of course the heels, dissecting that one person being Jeyuso. One of like the sadder things is like, oh man, Logan Paul, he always has a really good buckshot lariat, but tonight is the night where he, fumbles. He doesn't get like the cleanest of landings with the flip into the ring, and he like stumbles a little bit, and it's like, oh man, you're like, you were doing so good at that, and then you just fumbled it one time. I was like, oh, that's sad to see, but they were able to cover that up relatively quickly. Cody gets the hot tag, and then of course he's running around crazy style. I also love the fact that during his entrance, Logan Paul had one of the drones, and he gets that drone back as he's going to go for what is probably his frog splash, but Cody comes up and hits a big superplex off the top rope. Jay immediately follows that up with a big splash as well. We get towards the tail end of the match. Cena is going to try and put Cody Rhodes through the announcer's table with an AA. Cody gets out. Jay spears Cena onto that table. But Cena is able to roll off, and Logan Paul hits a big acai moonsault to the outside, puts Jay through that announcer's table. While the ref is busy with Jay and Logan on the outside, Cena, of course, has got his title, hits Cody with a belt shot, but then the crowd starts getting excited as a dude in a hoodie and jeans jumps into the ring and starts beating up Cena. He takes the hood off, takes his mask off, and it's R-Truth. Truth then grabs the belt, clocks Cena in the head with the belt, and then he leaves. Cody Rhodes picks him up, hit Cena with the crossroads. 1, 2, 3. The baby faces win this tag team match. Which puts me 4-1 on the night for prediction-wise. Now, my biggest question was, does this mean Truth is re-signed? Or was this his last thing that he does on his contract before it expires? But no, he is fully re-signed with the company. And to prove that, he's got new merch out. And he's not going to be going by R-Truth anymore. He will be going by Ron Killings. Now, I don't know if this will lead to another match with Cena. I don't know if that will happen, because with Cena and Paul having a bit of a tiff during the tag match, there's like a couple of avenues that you could go down for Night of Champions. You could either A, run back Cena Cody at Night of Champions. 2, you could do Cena and Paul because of their little tiff in the match. Cena can blame Logan for their loss, and that can segue into their program for Night of Champions. Or Cena Killings, but this time it's for the title. That's just like one of 3 options that you could do leading into Night of Champions. Granted, are 2 of those options, something people would want to see? Well, one of them probably not, but the other one, maybe. So it really all depends on what happens in these next couple weeks of television leading up to Night of Champions. But other than, us looking forward to the future, Money in the Bank 2025 was a really good show. Lots of good matches throughout the night. A couple of, actually one shock winner, in my opinion, in terms of like the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. A really big return at the end, and a huge development for one of the characters in the men's match. It was a pretty solid show all the way around. And I'm very much looking forward to what is going to be some of the bigger key matches at Night of Champions at the end of the month. So, what more can you say about that? But until then, guys, be safe out there, and remember, if you think you have jello legs, just try climbing a ladder, because, they may become even more jelly-like, and, just slow you down. And I will see you guys next time.